We have been discussing the chapter called atomic structure. Today's class is going to be on light. Now you may be wondering that if you are learning about atomic structure, why do you need to know about light? Now this is very important that if we are to learn about atoms, we have to learn about light. So this is the reason that I have dedicated the today's class totally on electromagnetic radiation we know as light. Now, before we come to the class, start the discussion, let me tell you something very important. First of all, if you find anything doubtful or if you do not understand any part of the following presentation as I recorded, you communicate with me. If you do this, I may be able to solve your problems and I'll be very much delighted to do so. Another thing is that you may find one or two words in the following slide not clearly visible in your device. This may occur because I am recording the class in a screen recorder in my mobile. Now, if you find anything not visible in your mobile or something unclear, you may refer to the class note provided in your group today. This class note provided is nothing but a PDF form of the following slides I am about to describe. So you do not understand any word, you go to the PDF and there you can find the word and that way it is solved. So now let's start today's class. So what is light actually? This question has puzzled us for a long period. In fact, if you look at this picture was drawn in 15th century by the famous artist called Leonardo da Vinci, who actually drawn Mona Lisa. So there is nothing scientific in this picture. This is just a artist's imagination in which the Leonardo da Vinci is trying to understand the very nature of light, and he is doing so in the early 15th century. So this is a very long time ago, right? So I have just included this that we are trying to understand light for a long time. Now, from our practical experience, light can behave either as particles or as wave. The particle nature of light can be experienced from the photoelectric effect. Now, what is photoelectric effect? I will be discussing photoelectric effect in details in the next class, but let me just tell you a little bit about this. Photoelectric effect is an observation. What happens if you take a metal surface, if you take a metal and if light is fall on the surface of the metal, it is observed that electrons as a charged particle gets ejected from the surface. So let me repeat this again. Light falls upon the metal surface and from the metal surface electron gets ejected. Now this obviously has to be a particle property because only a particle can hit another particle. If a matter hits another matter, it moves. So if light is a particle, lights are particle, so if lights acts as a particle and the particle hits the electron in the atoms and the electron will be able to eject. So this is the idea of the particle nature of light. So photoelectric effect is the is an indicator of particle property of light. So this will be discussed in very details in the next class. Wave properties of light can be realized from various observations such as diffraction, interference, etc. Now these things will be discussed in physics. So I have also not going to discuss this in details now. So in easier terms, light can act both as a particle and as a wave. Now, what is the property of wave? How wave can be characterized? Again, there is some repetitions from class 10. In class 10, you have learned about waves. So, I am not going to spend too much time on this again. So, you can always go back to your class 10 book and learn about wavelengths, frequency, etc. But let me revise you something. So, this picture, what you can see in the screen, represents a wave. The x-axis is indicates time, and the y-axis represents position. And there is a wave drawn on it. The wave moves from point A, the starting point, to the final point I. In between, you can see various other points. Now, as the wave moves from point A and it reaches on the point E, there is a slight mark on it and the point E. The wave completes one complete cycle, one full cycle. That is A, B, C, D, E. This path is one complete cycle. Again, from E until it reaches point E, this is another cycle. So E, F, G, H, I, this path is another cycle. So in the wave that is drawn on this picture, there is two cycles, and the wave moves from point A to the final point I, and from A to I there is two complete cycles. Now, two things has to be understood, that the distance between point B and point F, these both points are at the maxima of the wave. So B and F are said to be in the same phase. So the distance between B and F is called wavelength. Now, suppose the wave moves from point A to point I in two complete cycles in 1 second. So whatever the number of cycle completed by a wave in 1 second, that number is its frequency. So in the picture, two complete cycle is completed by the wave in 1 second, so the frequency is 2 cycles per second. So that is 2 Hz. Now there is a relation between frequency and wavelength, which you have studied in earlier, is that wavelength represented by lambda equals to velocity, that is c, multiplied by its frequency. So lambda is equal to c into v. We'll write c in case of light wave. Again, there is two pictures, as you can see, picture 1 and picture 2. In both the waves, the starting point is A and the final point is B. Now, from the picture left, that is the first picture, there is two complete cycles. Now, in the second picture, there is 3 complete cycles. Now, let us say for both the waves, it takes just 1 second for both the waves to reach from point A to point B in the either of the pictures. So, from the first picture, 2 cycle is completed in 1 second. In the second picture, 3 cycles are completed in 1 second. So, the frequency of the first wave shall be 2 Hz and the frequency of the second wave shall be 3 Hz. So, in the picture 2, the frequency is larger than the frequency in picture 1. Again, you can see that the wavelength, that is the distance between any 2 points in the same phase, in picture 1 is actually larger. So the wavelength is greater in picture 1 than the wavelength in picture 2. So higher frequency means lower wavelength. So if too many number of cycles are completed in 1 second, the wave length shall be automatically smaller. So all these things are repetition. So let me just move on to the next part. That is, okay, so there is another thing. Wave number. Now the reciprocal of lambda, whatever be the lambda value, such as lambda is equal to 400 nanometer. So 1 by lambda, that is 1 by 400. that number shall be called wave number, that is mu bar. Now there are actually two conversions that is very important, that and it comes in every in a number of numerical problems, that is conversion from Armstrong and to nanometers. They both are the unit of distance length. So 1 Armstrong is equal to 10 to the power minus 10 meter, and 1 nanometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 9 meter. So you must memorize these two conversions. Now there is a homework. What is the frequency of violet light with wavelength 400 nanometers? Now let's move on to our primary thing that we are going to learn today. Today the main area that we are trying to focus on is on Planck's quantum theory of electromagnetic radiation. So you have already seen that light can behave as a particle and as a wave. Now, in a scientific sense, how can we relate these two properties with a reasonable justification that has a mathematical background? So there has to be a mathematical equation that relates these two properties of light, that is wave and particle, and that work was done by Max Planck in 1905. So wave property and particle property has to be unified. Now Max Planck suggested that light is not a continuous flow of energy. Light is actually made up of very small wave packets, very small packets. These packets are called quanta. For sunlight, this quanta is nothing but photons. So energy is not emitted or absorbed continuously. There cannot be a continuous radiation of energy. Whatever light is coming from a source, that light is made up of very unimaginable small wave packets or energy packets. These packets are called quanta or photons. Now every photon particle has a wave, has an energy. Now each photon particle has a wave property associated with it. So light is made up of quanta or photons, and photon has wave property. So we have successfully unified these two properties of light. So every photon particle has a wave nature. So let me repeat this again. Light is made up of photons, very small photons, and each photons has a wave property. Now if the photons have wave property, the photons must have frequency and wavelength. So if the photon has high energy, that means the photon is able to complete too much number of cycles per second. That is, energy of a photon particle is directly proportional to the frequency of the photon particles. So E is directly proportional to mu. So there has to be a constant, that is H. So E is equal to H nu is the Planck's formula for electromagnetic radiation, quantization of electromagnetic radiation. Here H is called Planck's constant. The value of H has to be remembered by you. H equals to 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second in SI unit. Now since mu is equals to C by lambda, we can rewrite the equation as E is equal to H nu equals to Hc by lambda. So this is a very important equation. In fact, the first important formula you learn in chemistry. Again, if there is a matter that absorbs energy, it cannot absorb energy continuously. It will absorb energy of the photon particles that strikes the matter. So whatever be the number of these photons that falls upon the object, that energy is absorbed. That means the any matter or any surface or body will absorb or maybe emit radiation, and that the energy of the radiation is the simple multiple of the energy of a single photon. For example, just for the metaphor, if one photon particle carries 2 joule, the total energy absorbed by something, say matter, is 2 into something. A simple 2 into 1, 2 into 2, 2 into 3, like this. Now a photon particle cannot be devised, or you cannot break a photon particle. So if the first energy is h nu, second energy is 2 h nu. So there cannot be a energy 1.5 h nu. That means the total energy of light is quantized. Quantized means breaking into smaller sections. So total energy of light is quantized into smaller energies of smaller photons. That is E is equal to nh nu. In the picture, it is written as capital N. Actually, it will be small n. So E is equal to small h nu. Now n shall be equals to 1, 2, 3, 4. It cannot be 0. It cannot be a fraction. Sorry. Now there is a homework. The homework is that if the photon of light with energy 10 to the power minus 19 joule is emitted by a source of light, convert this light into wavelength, frequency and wave number of the photons in terms of meters, hertz and meter inverse respectively. So you do the homeworks and you try to solve the homeworks using the formulas given to you. If there is correct answers, then I will post the correct answer in group. Now if you are not able to solve the problem, at least write the questions in a blank paper and message me personally in WhatsApp, so that I know that you have actually watched the class. That way I take your attendance. Okay, thank you. In the next class we shall study photoelectric effect and we'll learn how Niels Bohr has rectified all the drawbacks of Rutherford's atomic model that was discussed in the previous class. Thank you very much.